Thanks, Reed, and good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. I heard Reed say that the IRS had something to do with the LeRoy Hall of Fame. That explains why I didn't get those 3 emails from Jim Rogers. Let me know about the date. It's nice to be invited back for a second time to help induct the new members of the LeRoy Hall of Fame. Usually people don't ask me back a second time, especially now that I'm a quote politician. I've been retired for a year and a half, and I've decided to run for the state senate. As Reed said, frankly, my wife said she didn't care what I did as long as I got out of the house. Some of you may be able to identify with that. And honestly, I'm just trying to give back to my community. I think I have a duty to do that, and I think you have to make sure you keep a close eye on people's money. And speaking of which, a little kid needed $100, and for whatever reason, little kids need $100. This kid needed $100, so he decided to write a letter to God. And he asked him to help him get $100. When the postman saw the letter, he was so impressed he sent it to the White House, where it landed on President Obama's desk. The president was so impressed, he instructed his secretary to find a crisp $5 bill and put it in the envelope. He said he figured that the kid would be happy with $5. When the youngster got the letter back and he opened it up and he saw what he had, he was excited about the 5, but he thought he should write a thank you letter to God. And here's what he wrote. He said, "Dear God, thank you very much for the $5. I see the postmark that this letter went through Washington, D.C., and I just think you ought to know that those crooks kept $95. I want to salute Jim Rogers and the committee for doing such a great job with this Hall of Fame. I've known Jim since high school. I went to Pembroke, and Rogers and Bobby Lau are quick to point out that despite our unbeaten senior season in football, LeRoy kicked our butts in the preseason scrimmage. I like to point out that we knocked off Rogers' basketball team that year here in LeRoy in a game that counted. I guarded Rogers. He was bigger than me. And as you can see, still is. But Jim was tough when he was in high school. He put 4 people in the hospital. 3 of them in the maternity ward. And then, of course, he went off to a long and illustrious Division I coaching career in football. People don't know this, but Jim could have gone to Stanford and played quarterback. But he didn't like the way they recruited him. They never asked him for any game films. They never sent him a letter. They never called him. Football was the most important thing to all of us when we were young. I mean, many of us here. In fact, it's important to us now. In some schools, it's the most important thing. A group of recruits and their parents were being taken around Nebraska, a very big football school, as you know. They're being taken around by the assistant coaches there. And everything is red in Nebraska. And when they came up to the stadium, the coaches stopped to address the parents, and they pointed to the big red N over the stadium entrance. And the assistant coach looked them all straight in the eye, and he said, "You know, everybody thinks Nebraska is about football. Football, football. It is not. You see that big N right there? I want you to know that that N stands for knowledge." I don't know where the time has gone. It seems like only yesterday I was being chased out of the casino. And now we're old and we don't get chased anymore. We don't do a lot of chasing. I said to my wife of 45 years, just the other day, I said, you know, 45 years ago we had a small apartment and a junky old car and a tiny little black and white TV, but I got to sleep with a beautiful brunette every night. Now we have a bigger house, a newer car, a big screen TV, and I don't think you've held up your end of the bargain. You know, I'm not sleeping with that young, beautiful brunette anymore. I miss that. But she's a reasonable woman. She said I could go out and find myself a young brunette, and she'd make sure I was back in that small apartment with a small black and white TV. I came home the other night and she said, quick, pack a suitcase. I just won the lottery. I said, that's great. Summer clothes are winners. She said, I don't care as long as you're out by midnight. But it seems, it just gets tougher when you get older. And she's always bugging me about money. And we were in Walmart, especially now that I'm on a fixed income. We were in Walmart the other day, and I picked up a case of Jenny, and I threw it in the cart. And she said, what are you doing? I said, it's on sale, 24 cans of Jenny for only $10. And she said, put them back, we can't afford it. So we kept shopping, and she picked up a $20 jar of face cream and put it in the cart. I said, what are you doing? She said, this is face cream, it makes me look beautiful. I said, so does 24 cans of Jenny, and it's Anyway, it's great to be up this morning to salute some of the greatest athletes to ever grace the halls of... That'll do it. Good night, everybody. Grace the halls of LeRoy High School, to spend some time together, to reminisce about those great days when life was simple. The town was bustling, suiting up on Friday and Saturday afternoon, Friday nights or Saturday afternoon. And those days meant the world to all of us. I'm honored to present this year's class of inductees into the Oatka Hall of Fame.